if you have a moment of panic when you can't log something, or you feel really nervous going out to eat when you can't track perfectly, or you avoid eating things that you don't know the calories of.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Sweatable podcast. My name is Brooks Herbis, and I'm an online fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach who's here to help you simplify and make sense out of the all too confusing fitness and nutrition industry. Let's be real, there's a lot of conflicting information online, and it can be hard to know what's legit and who to trust. In every episode, I'll be sharing the science and psychology behind health, fitness, and long-lasting behavior change. But I'll also be sharing real-life practical application, because all of the best info in the world only matters if you can actually apply it to your real life. So grab a coffee, water, glass of wine, or lace up your walking shoes, and let's dive in.
Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Sweat Simple podcast. I am always excited for these topics. I feel like I start every episode saying that I am super excited, but this one is maybe going to ruffle some feathers, and I'm excited to talk about it because it's something that I posted and shared on Instagram, and it sparked a lot of conversation, and I think it's an important conversation to have because I think that calorie tracking in general, we will be talking about tracking calories. Calorie tracking in general tends to get a bad rap. I feel like it's funny because some people have been saying like macro counting is so back and I hate it. And one, I don't think macro counting ever really left. And two, I think part of the reason it's quote unquote coming back is because it actually is can be a really helpful and useful tool for education, and not just for weight loss, but like truly to start to understand how you're fueling your body better and all that good stuff. But at the same time, it's not always used in the right way. And that's what this episode is all about. So to kick it off, I have an important question for you. And it is, do you trust yourself to not track calories? And like I just said, calorie tracking, macro tracking, whatever you want to do on any scale, it's an amazing tool. Most of my clients track calories. I am a big proponent of calorie tracking. I just said it is a huge, great tool for a lot of people. What I am not a fan of is feeling like tracking calories is the only way to be successful. I'm talking about if you feel like you can't go on vacation without tracking because tracking calories keeps you in check. If you feel like you don't track calories, suddenly you eat completely different. Like the sorts of things you're eating changes, how much you're eating changes. If you don't trust yourself to stay balanced, to eat in your typical way, while not tracking calories. If you have a moment of panic when you can't log something, or you feel really nervous going out to eat when you can't track perfectly, or you avoid eating things that you don't know the calories of. If you're tracking because you really want to keep your streak going on MyFitnessPal or lose it, those are all times that I would take a beat and say, wait a minute, do I have a healthy relationship with this? Am I using this in the right way? Because tracking calories is such a phenomenal tool, and there is something to be said about tracking calories holding you accountable. Tracking calories is a way of self-monitoring, and we know the research shows self-monitoring your nutrition, your habits, your goals in some way helps you to be more successful in goal attainment. So tracking calories, a great tool to hold you accountable. It teaches you about proper portion sizes, especially when you first start tracking and you have no idea how much you're eating. It can bring a lot of awareness to help hold you accountable. But there is something called Goodhart's Law that says when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. So if we think about that in terms of tracking calories, if you are tracking calories only to hit a number every day, to check that off your to-do list, to keep your streak, we've kind of missed the whole point of tracking in general. And all of a sudden, hitting a number has become the target as opposed to why we're actually tracking in the first place. Because tracking calories is meant to help you build awareness. It's meant to give you that education ultimately so that it can guide how you eat and help you make more informed decisions. So when we're taking it one step deeper, calorie tracking is about building awareness and it's about building education so that you can make more informed decisions. We should not just be tracking calories with the goal of hitting a streak or hitting numbers. Like if you are just passively tracking and you are just trying to check that off your box and you're trying to just say, well, I tracked today, and it's not giving you that valuable long-term education. And you could be just using it as a crutch. You could just be saying, well, if I track today, I checked that box. I did something. I should be losing weight. When that's not the case. Because, I really want you to think about why you're tracking calories. There is usually a deeper reason there. I'm tracking calories to know how to properly fuel my body. I'm tracking calories to make sure that I'm eating enough for my goals. I'm tracking calories to make sure my meals contain a good balance of micro and macronutrients. All of those things can still be achieved even if you aren't tracking the number. So even if you didn't track any of your calories, you can still do all of those things, which is why my clients, I don't only want them to focus on hitting a number. I'm not just giving them a macro target and saying, hit this number every day, keep your MyFitnessPal streak. I don't care what else happens. That's not the goal. That is, if that's your mindset around it, if you are just trying to hit numbers, if you really aren't learning anything, if you panic when you can't track something properly, if you panic when you don't know for sure how many calories in something that you're eating, that's when calorie tracking and hitting a number is the goal, not that deeper goal of weight loss, feeling better, building muscle, whatever it might be. So this is why I help my clients use calorie tracking as a tool and a guidepost, but not the goal. The goal is weight loss, eating healthy, feeling better. Calorie tracking is a tool that we're using to get there. We also, along the way, need to learn about proper portion sizes so that down the line, you don't need to track every bite to know what to put on your plate. You also need to get back in touch with your hunger and fullness cues so that you can stop eating when you're full and leave food on the plate. If you're just eating to hit a calorie target, you're not paying attention to your hunger and fullness cues. So you also need to keep that in mind. You also need to pay attention to how certain foods make you feel and think about how you want to feel after meals so that you can make choices that reflect that. So basically, the question to ask yourself is, are you tracking with intention behind it? Are you tracking to reach a larger goal and focus on developing long-term eating skills behind it? Or are you passively tracking just to track, just to hit a number? You only care about hitting that number just to keep your streak. And I want to leave you with a few questions that you can ask yourself to start exploring your relationship with tracking calories. So, if suddenly overnight, let's say like the internet goes down or MyFitnessPal and all the tracking apps go bankrupt at the same time and they're all deleted off your phone, you don't have access to a single tracking app, I want you to sit and ask yourself, how would that feel? Would you be like, okay, it kind of sucks. Like, maybe this will slow down my weight loss goals, but it is what it is. Or would you be in full panic mode? Because without tracking, you don't know what to eat. Would it change what you ate that day? Would you be celebrating because you're like, heck yeah, untracked day, I'm going to eat whatever because if I don't track it, it doesn't count. Or would you say, okay, well, tracking calories doesn't really change how I eat. It just kind of shows me what I've eaten, but I still know that I feel better when I have like protein at breakfast, and I'm still gonna have like my normal lunch. How would it change what you ate that day? And would you still feel confident in your food choices? Do you feel like without tracking it, you know the sorts of things to eat, you know how much to eat in order to reach your goals? Or are you only relying on your tracking app to tell you that? So, really sit with this. And if it's not yeah, honestly, like this wouldn't be a huge deal. I would still know how to eat to support my goals, even if I couldn't track, like nothing would really change. Then honestly, we have some work to do with your relationship with tracking. I want you to get to a point where you don't feel like you have to track every single thing in order to make food choices that you feel proud of. I want you to feel like if you have a day where you can't track, your eating choices are still pretty in line with what you would do if you were tracking. And this is what I do all day long with my coaching clients because the end goal is always to move away from tracking calories. I personally have not tracked calories consistently in going up like 8 to 10 years now. And it's because I tracked with intention and I tracked with getting the education, making more informed decisions. And now I know what I should be eating, uh, even without tracking every little bit. And that is what I help my clients do too. And I want you to learn how to do this too, because I don't want you tracking calories forever. Tracking calories is a tool that helps you build the overall lifestyle that you're trying to have forever. So I know a lot of times people say like, well, if you couldn't see yourself sticking with it forever, then you shouldn't do it. And they use it as a way to bash calorie tracking. But calorie tracking is different than doing keto. With calorie tracking, you should still be building up a lifestyle that you can stick to forever. And it's the lifestyle piece that we want to keep you doing forever. We're using calorie tracking as a tool to help get you there, but it's not meant to be a forever solution. It's not meant to be something you do forever. It's meant to help you get the education so that you don't need to do it forever. So I don't want you tracking calories forever or using it as a crutch. And if this sounds like what you want, if you're like, yeah, I know I'm way too focused on the number, but I don't know how to get out of it, or calorie tracking has been really helpful for me, but I have no idea how to stop tracking, I would love to work with you in one-on-one coaching. You can head to my show notes and apply. This is exactly what I help my clients do all day long is track with intention, track with the education, track with the awareness piece. So I'd love to just get the convo going, see if you're a good fit, how we could work together to help you feel more confident and less scared about not tracking calories. So that's all I've got for you guys. Don't forget to ask yourself those questions. How would it feel if you lost access to your tracking app? What would it change what you ate that day? Would you still feel confident in your food choices? Sit with that. Let me know what you think. Don't forget, I choose one person every single month to win a free personalized fat blueprint with me. So you'll get a personal nutrition plan, a personal workout plan, and then email access to me for weeks as you implement everything we talked about. So all you have to do to be entered is leave a review, share this episode in your stories, and tag me. If you have questions, comments about the episode, let me know, and I will talk to you all next week.